Did anyone do this in the calculator? A couple of us. Okay, so I'm going to show you on Desmos and then in the calculator. That way you see both. So if you did this in Desmos, you put in your table, you got your line of best fit, and on the quiz it said to round to one decimal place. So you should have put y equals 0.6 x plus 9.8. If you put more than that, then you got points deducted. But I only took off half. I didn't take off for both, unless your numbers were completely wrong. Questions on that one before we continue? Alright, and then for the second question, if you're using Desmos, using the line of best fit, you have to predict the weight of a 10-month-old girl. The weight depends on the age in months, so this is an x equals. And in Desmos, or writing this down, you would say something like this, or you didn't have to put Desmos because I would know what you're talking about. And then type in x equals 10. And find where those two lines cross. And your answer, I accepted one of these answers, 16.27 or 16.3. But you also needed labels, 16.3 pounds or 16.27 pounds. Oh, wow. Yes, many of us did not write labels.
Our labels.
I'm confused. Yeah, so if you put this into this, I'm going to show you what happens. $15.8 is not the same as 16.3 or 16.27. If you don't use all of the decimals from your line of best fit, you get a number that is less accurate, meaning it is wrong. So if you're going to put it back into the equation, you could do that if you use all of the decimals. If you don't do that, you're going to get the wrong answer. So the full point for that one was, did you show me how you put it in decimals or in the calculator, which I'll do in a second? Did you get the right answer or about the right answer? You rounded, and your label.
I have a question. You said, Monty said, what did you make x? Like, what did you want me to do?
So it says what after this?
Well, it says, all it says, what did you make x?
Oh, because you said you put x into Desmos, but didn't tell me what you put into Desmos. Right? The next one was very similar. You had to show me somehow how you made the 5 years into months, multiplying, putting it into Desmos, putting it into your calculator, saying that x is 60, something like that. As long as I saw 60 somewhere, you got the point for that. And then if you put that back into Desmos, and found where those two lines cross, I accepted a couple different answers for this one. 48.453 pounds, 48.45 pounds, or 48.5 pounds. Any of those three were acceptable. If you got 45.8, you did the same thing as before. You put it into this equation with less decimals, so your answer was less accurate. So for the 2 points there, showing me somehow how you got to 60, and then your correct answer with your label. Questions on that one? And then in the last one, it's now asking how old will the girl be if she weighs more than 45. So in Desmos, you would put in y equals 45. find where those two lines cross, and I accepted a few different answers for this one. Because 54.635 is exactly at 45, I accepted that anyway. 54.64 would be a little over 45, and it does say more than 45, so I accepted that one. 54.6 is also more, or if you rounded that to 55. Any of those answers, I accepted. If you rounded any more than that, that was way too much rounding. So you have to know when to stop rounding. And then months. So any of those four answers were acceptable. To get that full point, show me how you put it in decimals or in the calculator, and then one of those questions on those. So for those of you who did it in the calculator really quickly, and for anyone who wants to use the calculator for their summative activity, I will show that really fast. Great, so you would have to go into stat, edit, put in your data, go back into stat, go over to calculate. I'm doing this really fast, so if you're doing this along with me, you can go back and do this at another time. Number 4, make sure this is L1, L2, store this as alpha trace. Get the same points, same decimals, again round. And then you needed x equals 10 and x equals 60. So if I type in 10 STOX, and then grab alpha trace, you would have got your answer, 16.27, 16.3, either of those. Same thing for the 60. .45 or 48.5. But then for the one where you're trying to find x, you have to go into the table. And you're looking for where is this more than 45. So I'm going to jump because I don't want to scroll all the way to 45 to, let's say I made this. I should have looked at the table before I said that. Let's say I was just guessing and I said 50. So now I'm in the 40s. I can either keep scrolling or guess a little bit higher. Let's say 55 just because. So if you did it this way, you get an exact 54.7. Ours was 54.63, so it was a little off, which is why I would have accepted either. But if you were here, if you were doing this, you would need the exact 54.7, or if you went into the hundredths, the 6.3 is where we would have got that. Questions on any of that? Okay, so I'm going to explain to you how your summative is going to work after. This is going to be a group activity. There are 18 of you. I was about to go up, not down, because Grace isn't here. So you guys need to get into groups of 3. So do that first, and then I'll explain activity. Alright, so I'm going to tell you the goal, and then we're going to act this out, and then you guys are going to be doing this. So the goal is you are trying to figure out how many pennies it takes to break a noodle. That is your goal. So to do that, in your group, someone's going to hold a plastic baggie. You guys can rotate who does what. Okay, who wants to hold? You're going to hold it at the end like this. Face Max, and then make sure they can see you. Max, you're going to drop this and one by one counting out loud until the noodle breaks.
1. Louder. 2.
A little bit louder.
3. 4.
You guys need to come over to see you can.
5,
To display how a penny
6,
is
7,
worked.
8, 9.
I can't hear you.
Right, 9.
I guess
So then-
9 broke.
You guys in your group are going to get a paper that has all the directions. Read through the directions first. You can throw the paper away. And then, after you've read through the directions, one person from your group can come get pennies, like a stack like this, of noodles, and a baggie. I'm also going to give you a rubric. Read over it so that you know exactly how you're going to be graded. Alright, questions so far before I pass out the instructions? Harry.
I'm Italian, so breaking noodles is like really hard for me.
I'm sorry. Don't hold it back. Or, I don't. Close your eyes while it's broken. I don't know. I'm sorry. Make sure your names are, all of your names are on both sheets. Get the cheap off with that.
If anything's Boston,
Make sure all of your names are on both sheets.
So I told her.
So,
I guess there's a water bottle.
Oh, you do.
As a parent, I look at you because
You really have to do it.
read through the directions and then come see me to get your supplies.